since we talked about what I'm painting and why, while I paint, I would like to tell you a story. And that is the story about being an artist and what that means. The story that most people don't tell you, or that you read about in a book whenever everything's done, meaning life. Some artists don't even know. I'm just going to take my finger and wipe that right off, but see how it'll give me a nice glowy effect right through there underneath on that red. Most artists don't know what they've done until they're gone, or what movement they've started or created until they're gone. Sometimes the things that we do aren't understood today, as we've seen with history. An artist like Cezanne, for example, he was considered an artistic failure for many years until I believe his 70s, when he started creating these masterpieces in landscaping, and people were finally ready for him, and he transformed landscaping, the way we paint landscapes. And my point being is that you may not know, you may be compelled to paint on a daily basis and not fully understand quite yet the reasons why. This is a lemon yellow, by the way. I did not clean my brush. I figured it would give me a nice pop through. We're gonna go over where that vermilion is, because I want a difference in these reds right through its neighbors. There we go. My point being is that if you paint because you are compelled to paint, you can't live a day without thinking and looking at objects that you walk by in the grocery store and breaking it down into shapes, because for some reason it's in your DNA. Some things you can't explain to others that are like that, are not like that. And sometimes you feel almost cursed to have this so-called blessing because of the insanity that comes with it. And that, my friends, is for another video. However, no, you're not alone. Know that we were given the likeliness to create, and it has been bestowed upon your heart, if not for now, then perhaps for another day that you may not even know. So if you choose to paint something and you're using a lot of, let's say, abstract work, or even not, know what you're painting and why, and what it means, and what it could mean, and what it means in different cultures, and what it might mean in 100 or 200 years down. Make art that lasts. Make art that's an heirloom. Now, whether or not it's good or not is in the hands of the beholder, or really, actually, the history of the purchaser, if we want to be fully honest. Now, this is just that nice touch of cadmium coming through. I paint a lot in cadmiums because of their power, permanent colors. So remember, your art, if you have something to say, It's obviously for a reason. It might not be for today, but make sure you say it and understand what it is that you say and the impact not only that words have, but think about the comparison of words to and how they move you to the comparison of how much emotion can be sprung from the simplicity of using the correct words. How much easier the writer has it, or the musician. But still, we're creating those vibrations that affect people's emotions, that rock people at a core level, their soul, that vibrate within inside them and either elicit happiness, sadness, curiosity. Who knows? But the point being is that they felt it. All right, so we're just gonna kind of keep working that pigment and oil. Oops. I went a little bit overboard there. We'll just fix that right up. If it doesn't come off, always use a stick. If it still doesn't come off, we can upgrade to our next removing device, which I will show you if I need it. And we will definitely be using at some point. It's a little bit better. Here we go. Anyway. Much better. Actually, that kind of gave it some nice definition in there. A little bit of shading, that red and green, which obviously makes brown in theory. So here we go, pushing that nice cadmium up in to our pre-color of more cadmium with turpenoid and a little bit of linseed oil underneath. Just pushing it through. Using tiny circles when I need to blend it a little bit more. Let's step back and take a look. You know, there's something to be said about people that practice and want to get better. You know, everybody wants to be better at something. Not everybody wants to be better enough to continue to practice it. However, if you want to, make sure you practice. Carve out time every day for that importance. Whether you be, you know, the only time I can carve out seems to be when my back starts hurting at about 4 a.m. I wake up, make coffee, and start painting. So, for you, that might look a little bit different, I hope. Anyway, just make sure that you have time to own your skill. People that practice and practice perfectly, so to speak, practice well, they learn from the masters, learn from the greats. They do the art history, find out what they painted, how they painted, what they did, how they mixed paint, what is paint made out of. We'll go into all of this eventually. But people that are really, really, really good at something go through the most brutalizing portion of not necessarily doing what it is they want to yet, but learning every aspect of it. And the reason I bring this up is today we go to art school. If you're so lucky to have a great art scholarship, or that your parents can afford it, whatever the case may be, you go to this art school. They don't teach you anything about art business. They tell you basically got to be a teacher, which there is nothing wrong with that. Sharing is the next step. Once you've mastered your skill, you should share and give back. However, they don't teach you how to be an artist, how to really actually be an artist. And so it's important that you take time to practice and own your skill and go through the process that can be actually very humbling. And the reason why this is important is because it'll make you honest with yourself and your eyes. And you can truly remove what you want to see and see what's really there. And sometimes that is what you need for the changes to be made. I have to say, filming these YouTube videos is quite helpful. I suggest that maybe even if you're not doing a YouTube video, just film yourself paint. Look through that camera occasionally. You'll see instantly what needs to be changed if you have it framed correctly. And so, my point being, be honest with yourself. Be brutally honest with yourself. Surround yourself with people that will also be honest with you. Sometimes you may have to grow a tough skin, but it'll be worth it in the end, because then you'll know how to improve. There's a saying that my boss, Rodney Cutler in New York, used to say, sometimes you don't know what you don't know until somebody tells you you didn't know. I think there's a lot of truth in that, a lot of humbling that comes with it, because all of a sudden what you thought might be correct, perfect, right, is seen through other eyes, and the flaws are shown, and you have to be strong enough to learn the principles to fix them, change them, alter them, manipulate them, and bend them. And then you can paint.